Hiya Jill, nice to see you. Hiya Dave. It's been a while since you've been in. Do you want to have a look around? We'll show you the changes since the flood. My name is Helen Fisher. I'm the manager here at Botcherby Community Centre. This centre is one of a number in Carlisle, and like them and other centres across the country, we provide a space for local people to meet, share and learn and provide activities across all age groups. In 2005 and 15, Carlisle suffered devastating floods. On each occasion our centre was flooded as well. A few of us who were involved with the centre decided to come together to reflect on our experience of dealing with a flooded community centre, the similarities and the differences of each event. As well as myself, who was manager at the time of the 2015 flood, we have Dave Trussler, who was Community Services Manager at Carlisle City Council. In 2005, Dave had specific responsibilities for working with community centres. Marion Allinson, Community Centre Assistant, who was in post in both 2005 and 2015. And finally, Jill Jones, Botcherby Community Centre Manager at the time of the first flood in January 2005, supposedly a once in a 200-year event.
I was in bed and the phone rang at about 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and it was the Environment Agency message, which we'd had quite a few of recent, before it actually happened. So I just ignored it because I thought it was always a test. And then I suddenly realised there was flashing lights outside the window. So I got out of bed and looked out the window, and there was police cars at the bottom of the road, and you could see, because they had all the lights on and everything, the car lights and everything, you could see the water at the bottom of Warwick Road, sort of coming up, basically. And the police had totally blocked the road off, and then you sort of start to panic and think, well, what do you do? Next time I looked out, there was Penrith lifeboat, Land Rover with a boat on the back of it, parked across at the pub. So I thought, oh, this is serious. Yeah. And then I could see that the water had even come up for even further, and had reached the gate outside the centre. So you sort of start to think, well, this is, but still you're sort of thinking, well, it's not going to go in.
Hard to believe. In
the building, and to the extent that it did, when you think that it was over 4 foot inside and over 6 foot outside, you just don't believe that's happening. But totally at a loss of what to do, because it hadn't happened before. It was a totally new experience. So.
Well, I was on holiday in the 2015 floods. I didn't know about it till 4 days later. Just a chance text message, and didn't realise what we were coming back to either. I think I got home a couple of weeks later on the Saturday, plucked up the courage to come in on the Sunday, just on my own, came in quietly, saw the centre. I couldn't believe, even though I knew I'd been told, I'd text a couple of messages, we started texting each other, knew it had flooded, but never ever imagined that it would be anything like the last time and the devastation that you come into. I couldn't believe my eyes.
The first time it happened, we came down on the Sunday, didn't we? We watched it, the water coming up, and we came down the next day and the water had gone. We could get in the building. But this time it happened, we came down and you couldn't get in the building at all because the water hadn't gone. The water had actually sat.
I remember walking in the first time with you, and this floor was all slippy and covered in mud and things, and Marion said, oh, this is going to take us forever to clean this. Buckets of water and mops. And then we came in the next day and the floor had lifted. It was like waves.
That's what I came into, because I saw it a couple of weeks after the event, and it was
the floor had it was sort of this high.
I came down on the Sunday morning after the last 2015 flood, come down on the Sunday morning, and I got halfway down Victoria Road and thought, well, there's literally no point of even trying to get near or anything till the water goes. Yeah. So it was a couple of days after, and then who do I phone? What do we do? Because we didn't have Dave, I didn't have any numbers for City Council.
Or maybe on holiday as
Helen
well.
was on holiday. I had to phone Pat, who was a trustee.
It was supposed to be a once in every 200-year event, so we didn't expect it to happen again. And when it did, the support was different to how it had been 10 years earlier. And that, amongst other things, had consequences on how quickly we could get back into the building.
I think what helped us in 2005 was the porter cabin, because then you had the direct telephone line and everything, so you were contactable
we'd no
by the
telephone
various
number,
stations.
did
My
we?
mobile phone, my own, for months.
We worked in your kitchen, didn't we, for a little bit, didn't we? And then they put the porter cabins in and we were just back working.
They brought there was the dehumidifiers and things came in the February. The place was stripped out and it was dried and it was just left, and it was the 21st of November, so it was almost 12 months after the flood before the contractor actually started on site. It was nearly a year down the line before they started work.
I think what helped us in 2005 compared to what you are now is the setup, the backup from the City Council is not there now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't have the support people that help Marion and Jill. Nearly went out my head there.
Yeah.
That support mechanism isn't as good, if it's there at all, as it was in 2005.
Yeah.
But everybody was on the ball in 2005 from the City Council departments that were affected in the rebuilding.
So they were putting drawings together and everything was going out, the specification was done for the work to go out to tender, but it wasn't accurate. There's things missing now, the socket's not there. I came in one day, I just happened to be here on site a lot of days, and there was a little petition wall popped up in the toilet. I said, I've been here 10 years, I've never seen that. It was all drawings. So there was a cost to taking it down. Somebody, built it up and then it had to be removed, and because the socket's missing from in here and in the corridor, and we know where the works. It's silly things like, there was one in that corner because that's where we used to plug the Christmas tree lights in, that's where we used to plug the Hoover in, but we weren't let in at that initial stages, it was just people knew better. And we were led to believe, weren't we, there was hope that we'd be back in for the summer, and then that became, we've had more dates, then it was October. We'd had July, September, October, we had a date in November, we had one in February, we had a March date, and it was 20 months, I think, that we were out. And even when we did start to wriggle back in, we didn't have all the centre. We're 2 years after the anniversary now, and they're working on the kitchen right now, aren't they? In 2015, there was a lot of people who wanted to help, just wanted to help. It was a spontaneous outpouring from the community, but there were difficulties involving people because of rules and regulations that restricted our timescales, what we could and what we couldn't do, and how fast we could move forward. Everybody wanted to help, and what can they do? So we sat around the table, and there was Mark and Tony from CVS, Ted Thwaites was there from County, first time I've met him, Paul Carrigan was there, there was staff there from Riverside, and a couple of the trustees, and it was, what do you need and what can we do? And I think at that point, I didn't know what we needed. You were still upside down, and we were a long way from even beginning to think about what do we do next. But just knowing that they were there and there was people to help. And I think at that meeting we were offered some space at Petrobank.
When Helen was still on holiday, I had Steve from Udale. They were coming down. I was here meeting people. They come down. Is there anything I can do for you, man? He said, they all offered to help, and I said, but what can anybody do? There's nothing.
How did you find the insurers, Jill, at the time, 2005?
Well, the only problem we had was that they said we weren't really paying enough insurance to cover the full contents. We should have been paying more. But what we finally agreed on was a lump sum.
Right.
Instead of us having to buy things and put the receipts in for the insurance, and because it was so difficult. They said we needed an inventory of everything, even down to paper clips.
We did it from memory, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, you sort of took that work on.
We had to.
Yeah. It was almost like close your eyes and picture the room,
Visually
and you could see,
room,
there's
the
a filing
shelves.
cabinet there, there was chairs there was the shelves, what was on there. Your little caddies were keeping your pens in, and everything were claimed for the loss, and thankfully we were adequately insured, and they paid out. There's got to be a conversation at some point down the line when I know that the trustees, they're keen to sit down with some of the top people in the Civic Centre and say, well, basically, what have you learned? What's going to change next time round? The building shouldn't have been left a year before you started working on it. What's going to be different?